Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Toth, Managing Director of Conexus, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Conexus. Today, we're going to be talking about APIs, and I have with me our two subject matter experts on Conexus staff that work with APIs each and every day. First, I have David Ezell, who is Director of New Initiatives, and I have Clearly Silvera, API Coordinator. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So today we want to talk about APIs, and why don't we start off with what we have accomplished so far. We've been working on APIs for a while, and I know we have some that are released and some that are close to being released. Can you guys give me the rundown on what those are?
Well, I think I can start with the overall framework. It really took us a few months to figure out how to actually write an API so that we could put it up on GitLab and that it would coordinate with the other APIs and that everything was one big happy family of files. And we also created the API design guidelines so that we could have consistent APIs. Those things were somewhat time consuming, more time consuming than we would have liked in retrospect, but I think they are very stable now and they're giving us a good platform. But maybe Clearly wants to talk about some of the currently released APIs and what's happening over there.
Sure, David. Yes, we have quite a few APIs that have been released now, and like you were stating, this is being like a learning process for us as well. Not only just developing the APIs, but making sure that we develop the APIs in a way that can easily be deployed in the cloud as well. So we've been experimenting with mechanisms to implement events, for instance. But we have the FTC API that has been released. We have released the car wash API as well. We are in the process of releasing the mobile API and digital offers API. We also have a lot of work done in the working groups now. I think most of the working groups, they have come up to speed. They are a lot more comfortable with APIs. They are learning. They are being more productive. So I expect we'll see something coming out of loyalty as well fairly soon. The same is true with EPS. They are already working on the use case. So we have a lot of activity going on across the board. We are also looking at ways where we can expand functionality beyond just a store, where you can integrate with remote ordering and all the new features and applications that are out there today. So it's being very busy. We are making a difference as far as changing the way the industry as a whole deploys and develop technology.
That's great, guys. So question, I know that we have been looking for our new standards to be global, and we created new URL openretailing.org, where a lot of that work is housed. Can you walk us through what Open Retailing is and our partnership with IFSF?
Well, we've worked from the very beginning to partner with IFSF on APIs, and Open Retailing is a place where IFSF members and Conexus members can all collaborate on given APIs. It's a GitLab environment. It is actually up and online, and you can raise issues. You can create various kinds of requests. You can create merge requests, which means to bring something up to current work. These are all controlled by process, which has been in itself a topic, but we're in a really good space right now. And I think IFSF has donated, I'll use the term donated, some work in this area. For instance, the dispenser interface, which is sort of a portion of FTC. FTC itself was originally a part of IFSF, of course. Clearly didn't mention the EPS standard. It's a little further down the roadmap, but IFSF is with us on that one too. And they have just introduced a new wet stock management API that we're currently looking at. So open retailing is really where a lot of the interesting global work is happening. Do you have anything else there, Clearly?
Oh no, I agree. It's a tool. It's a tool that we use to collaborate to develop standards. We used to rely a lot on our own website for that purpose. It does create, a little bit of friction as far as like, versioning standards and versioning files and keeping track of issues and things like that. So I think open retailing is that tool now. It's the tool that allows for us to solve those problems. It creates other problems, and we're trying to overcome those, right? But yes, it's the tool that allows for us to collaborate and develop global standards, and everybody has access to it, right? Not just like us here at Connexus, but IFSF members, Connexus members. So that's our tool. That's like our repository of ideas and standards.
Okay, great.
Linda?
Yes.
I just have one thing I'd like to bring up, which is the API data dictionary.
Okay.
And we, in Connexus, we never actually had any kind of data dictionary before. And it has caused us some trouble between some of our standards. But our goal now is to make sure that we have a repository of like elements that are all designed for purpose that we can reuse between our specs. And that is between us and IFSF. So we're working hard to make all of that align for the dictionary.
Great. Yeah, I agree. The data dictionary is just huge. And if you're not a member of Connexus today and you want to check out the very first version, an early version, there is version 1 available on openretailing.org. You can navigate to that. So if you're curious and you're not a member yet, go ahead and check that out. So we talked a little bit about the factory. Can somebody explain what the factory is? What does that mean? What does it provide?
Go ahead, Clearly.
Sure. The factory is, I would look at it like our deployment environment. So once we have the APIs defined and approved, we are then creating tools for integration and certification. So that's what the factory is. We have never done that before. Not that I remember anyway, that we never provide certification and test tools. So the factory is our framework for that. So now when a new standard is released, we can take our own APIs, we can implement those APIs in a way where if somebody now would like to write those APIs, they have a starting point. They can just write to something that has already been implemented. And we are hoping with that, we'll do two things. Number one, we will speed on that process up because now you have an implementation that you can write against. And second, we'll make system using our APIs more interoperable because we can take a look at the messages now and make sure that they are consistent. That's what the API factory is. Okay,
great. Final question. If somebody has some work that they would like to donate for review, or they have, if they're a retailer and one of their vendors has something that they would like to encourage their vendors to donate, how do they go about doing that?
The first thing is to complete an IP submission. For if you are the owner of the IP in an API, you have to make sure that our legal department gets to look at it and that we're all on the same page. Then our staff will review it. And we will immediately create a GitLab repository that indicates that it is a submission, that it's not a standard, but then everybody within the two organizations can look at it and raise issues.
All right, well, great. So today that wraps up our episode. Today we've been chatting with David and Clearly, our API experts on the Connexus staff. I enjoyed my time with them today, and I hope you guys learned some things. We'll see you next time on Conversations with Connexus.